Welcome, everyone, to episode 63 of the Missing Pieces podcast. If this is your first time watching or listening, as this is available everywhere the podcasts are available, my name's Greg, and this is where I sit down and I discuss my life, Lego, and anything else that's on my mind each week. And I have a lot that's on my mind this week, but before we get into any of that, I have a special announcement to make, and it's one that you could actually take advantage of while you're listening to this. And this is for the people that are maybe just sitting down, you got nothing to do, you're like, I'll just sit and listen to Missing Pieces, or I'll sit and watch it. Well, I've got something that could keep you busy during this episode and could potentially win you this lovely little set here. For those that are listening, it's 40410, the Charles Dickens Tribute book set. Made a video right before this came out today that I'm doing a brickitect Christmas mock contest, something that I like to do each year. And in this case, I'm having you make a Christmas mock. It can be anything that you want. And we're having everyone post their photos of their mocks to Reddit. And the most upvoted one on December 21st is going to get this set that I'm giving away. So if you were just going to sit down and listen to this and maybe just chill, I have no problems with that. Maybe you need that relaxation. But if you're looking for something to do, there's the little something to keep you busy while we talk about everything from this week. And this week was an awesome one. I usually end these episodes with wins of the week. I'm going to do that, but I'm going to start this with my win of the week because it's just something that I'm like super proud of and I'm just like anxious to talk about. So let's talk about the Discord server. I talked about this last week where I watched a 7-minute Patreon tutorial video on how to integrate a Discord server with your Patreon. And I did that, and I'm happy to announce, very happy to announce, that as soon as I did that, all of my Patreon people started trickling in, and it was really cool to see. But then after the podcast came out and I announced that this is open to anyone that is a part of the Patreon, and it's going to be a place where we can talk about things and hang out, all these people started joining, and it was amazing. First of all, before we talk about how amazing it was, I want to give a shout out to everyone that joined in this last week. I think I have the names of everyone. It's very difficult on Patreon to see the notification, so I had to go through and do like some investigative research to find out who all joined. But the new patrons that we had join this week and people that joined the Discord server, we had Landon, Lester, Dorothy, Joanne, Seth, Easy Craftsman, James, Kevin, Sean, Grant, Paul, Bernie, Gene, Scott, Hosea, Justin, Garrett, Adrian, and Mark. Holy moly, man. It was crazy to see this, but I am just in love with this Discord server. It's become like a part of my life. I love going on there. I created all these different channels. And if you guys don't know about Discord, in fact, I'm going to share one of my favorite comments from last week. This is in viewer feedback or listener feedback, but this one is from my good buddy Bricksar. He says, "So adults use Discord? LOL." Yeah, I guess apparently they do. I don't know if there's any other adults other than me and the people that I've invited to join this that are using it, but I know it's pretty popular with kids. And I can see why. Discord is amazing. It's like, I used to use Instagram for just the messaging service. Like I used to, go on there and chat with my friends and stuff. But Discord takes that to a whole nother level because you also have like the different channels that you can go through. And then you have the voice chat options and stuff. And we've taken advantage of all of these. In fact, my favorite one that I've made is introductions. This is actually a suggestion that someone made in the Discord to have a place where people can introduce themselves. And you guys know I love hearing the backstory on pretty much anything and everyone. So when people join the Discord or Patreon, I like to know, like, what brought you here? Who are you? Like, what is your story? And everyone has been putting their stories up there. And I just love sitting down and reading them. It's so cool to see the variety of people that are here. Because last week I mentioned this is going to be for, like adult fans of Lego, people trying to find others that are like us, like other weirdos like us. I mean that jokingly. You're not weird. I'm weird. I'm probably weird. Let's just be honest here. But it's cool to see, like, there's teenagers in there, like people that were already on Patreon, they've come over. There's people that are at my age. There's people that are older than me, younger than me. And it's cool to see us all come together over this common thing, which is Lego, but then share so much more. Like there's a gaming spot, which we'll talk about here in a second. There's movies, there's TV, there's a place to show your hauls or talk about deals. It's like any category of Lego collecting that you'd want to be involved in, it's available there. There's a spot to show your art. There's a place to show your pets. Like, it's really cool, and it's by far my win of the week is like being a part of this and having this community there. I can't talk about how much I love it. And it's like, I probably need to take it easy though, because I'm on there all the time and just like chatting with everybody. And it's probably a bit too much, but I'm just like super into it. And my only regret, and I think we can relate to this regret quite a bit in our lives, many of us, is that I didn't do this sooner. If I would have known how easy it was, I would have done this the day that I set up a Patreon, because love the fact that we can be talking all the time. It used to be I would do these Friday night live streams and I would do the Lunch and Legos on Tuesdays, and we would be able to chat in the chat there, but then like when that ended, that was the end of our community, right? Until like the next one came up. And now it's just ongoing. In fact, there's so much happening there and there's so many people there, I can't even keep up with all the conversations that are happening. But that's cool. It's also overwhelming, but really cool. And I just wanted to share that as my win of the week, with an extension going into the next part of this, which is gaming related. And that's that we were talking about maybe making like a Minecraft server. And I looked into doing that. So we essentially, what a Minecraft server would be is that we could all play together and have this world that exists. Even when other people are offline, people could come online. And Clark and I play on console, which I think most people play Minecraft on PC. Most people, they play the Java version. This is the Bedrock version, but that's unimportant. I looked into doing this, and it's very complicated to do for a server with console. So I ended up signing up for this service through Minecraft called Realms Plus, where it's $8 a month, and it gives you access to this world that's always online, always created. You can invite as many people into this realm as you want to. So I put out the invite to all the people that are in the Discord, or in the gaming section of that at least, people that care about it. And you can have up to 10 people playing with the host online at the same time. So you can have 11 people essentially playing. And I made this, and instantly everyone was coming in and building stuff, and Clark was in there as well. In fact, one night I was playing Fortnite. I was playing here on Fortnite, and Clark was playing back there in Minecraft, and it was so funny watching him because they were having such a blast, and he was laughing so hard. But we did a tour. If you're not subscribed to our gaming channel, it's an option. It may not be your cup of tea. It's definitely not as family friendly as what this channel is, or Greg's World, but it's linked down below, and you can see a tour of our realm like on the first day that it was made. And I thought it'd be cool to do consistent tours as things get built, because just over this weekend, seeing what the guys built there, it's remarkable seeing this world come together. So it's really cool because you know everyone's on at different times and stuff, and even if I'm offline, the world still exists and it's continuing to be built. And I feel like for $8 a month, that's a bargain to have this place where we can go. And we have like a voice channel where we can go in and talk, while we're playing the game and stuff. So it's pretty fun. And I've been looking for this forever. Like our Friday night patron streams, I'm always like, what's a game that we could all play together? And initially it was Among Us. We tried that, and I'm just not a fan. I'm sorry to all the Among Us fans out there, but it wasn't my cup of tea. And most other games are limited to you and 3 other people, because you're in like a squad, whether it be like Warzone or Fortnite or whatever. But this allows 10 people. And my only concern is that there may be more people than that want to get on at the same time. But unfortunately, that's what we're limited to. The Realms Plus only allows 10. So the other way that I could do it would be to, I guess, start playing on my computer and create like a server which allows more people at more money per month. But that's unimportant to me. I just want to be able to have everyone in here. So there might be like a queue, I suppose, or like a backup if it's like a hot time. But it should always work out that people are able to get on. I'm just stoked on that. And all that combined, our powers combined, anyone old enough to know what that is? We are Captain Planet. Spoilers. It's just like, it's all balled together in my win of the week, and I'm just like so stoked about this. Like, this is something I've wanted for so long, and to see it to come together. And I guess the thing that I'm most proud of isn't just like having the ability to hang out with these people, but I'm proud of myself for learning how to do these things. Like prior to last week, I had no idea how to do a Discord server at all. I was in one with my friends, and like I chatted in there. We used it for podcasting before, but I didn't like know how it works. And now I have that down. And there's still a lot more to learn, so I can definitely expand there. But also in the Minecraft realm, I knew nothing about that. I didn't even know what a Minecraft realm was, and now I have one, and we have people there. I'm stoked. I'm really happy about this, and I'm just like, I'm proud and just very happy. So I wanted to share that as my win of the week, and I appreciate you guys sitting through me gloating about all these cool things that I'm just like super excited about. But let's talk about Lego. You guys, like some of you fine folks that listen to this, you're like, man, Greg, I like your podcast, but do you ever talk about Lego on your Life Lego and anything else that's on your mind? Oh, let's talk about it. This week, I guess the coolest thing that happened this week in the world of Lego for me was that the Advent calendars started. Advent calendar season is here, baby. And it started off small. I made a video on it. We were just going to do the Star Wars one and City one. And that was all fine and good. And then I ended up finding the Friends one that I had on the shelf that I bought last year at Wegmans on clearance after the fact. It was like $14. And I was like, okay, this is worth it just to grab and part out. It's been in my backlog, and I was like, well, if I'm parting it out, I might as well let Clarkman do the builds. So we ended up pulling that out. Now we're doing 3 Advent calendars every day. And then Walmart decided to be a little frisky, and they decided that they were going to put the Harry Potter one down to $20 again, which I saw it pop up on Black Friday. I've seen it before for that price. And I've resisted. I'm like, I don't love the builds that much. You know, I like the minifigs. I like a couple of the little micro scale builds that are up there with it. But like some of it just seems like filler to me. But at $20, I couldn't resist. And I have so much fun with these calendars every morning. Like, it's the first thing we do when we get out of bed. Clark is like instantly wanting to open these. And I thought, you know what? The more the merrier. I wasn't supposed to do 4 advent calendars. I think our worst was 4, because I did one, I think it was like 2018. Or maybe it was 2018, I think. Or maybe last year. I don't know. All these years are blending together now. I did one in November. I did a Star Wars Advent Calendar in November, just so we wouldn't have too many at the same time. And now we're just going all in. Clark also did a Thomas Minis calendar that year too. And I looked at that one this year. I'm a sucker for Advent calendars. I should probably explain what Advent calendar is for those of you who don't know. Essentially what it is, it's a box. Let's hold this one up, for example, if you're watching this. And it has all these little punch out holes in it with little tiny builds behind it. And you find the number that corresponds with the day in December. These go from the 1st to the 24th of December, leading up to Christmas. So it's almost like a primer for Christmas, where you're getting a little gift each day, and it's a surprise. You pop out the hole, or like the square there. You look inside for the instructions, because it's inside the flap, and then you build the thing. And it's fun when you're doing 1. It's even more fun when you're doing 2. It's great fun when you're doing 3, and I imagine it'll be even more fun when you're doing 4. So that's what we've been doing and looking forward to each day. I'll say this: if I give my preliminary review of these advent calendars, like maybe you're thinking about getting one now that I'm talking about it, and you're like, yeah, it kind of sounds like fun. Even though I'm a couple days behind, I'll get caught up. The one you want to get is the Star Wars one. Star Wars detectors are actually happy for once. It's so much better than the City, at least in my opinion. Like, we've gotten an A-Wing, we've gotten a micro Razor Crest, we've gotten Luke, or Jenny, as he's known in some circles. We've gotten, who was the other main? Oh, we got Poe in the sweater, which is one of the main reasons I bought it, along with Darth Vader in the sweater as well. City, it's not that great. Like, it's probably one of my least favorites. They're doing a lot of micro scale stuff, so like a micro scale truck, a micro scale police station, a gas station. There was like a couple minifigs that came with it as well, but nothing as memorable as the Star Wars one. Friends, just a dumpster fire. I don't like it at all. They're kind of like little trinkets and ornaments, with one mini doll so far in the, I guess, 6 days that we've done it. And I wouldn't recommend the Friends one unless you're super into it, or maybe, I hate to say it, but if you have a daughter, your daughter might be into Friends. But if everyone else out there, and I can't comment on the Harry Potter one because I don't have it yet, but for anyone else out there that's considering getting one, and you're okay with it being kind of like past due already, go for the Star Wars one. It's really cool so far, and you won't regret it for Vader in the red Death Star sweater. It's super cute, and it's worth the extra $10 or whatever. It's $40 typically, but I bet you could find it for less. And if you have any kids out there, they would love doing this. Just, you gotta have discipline though, because Clark, man, he wants to go into the next day like every day. I'm like, dude, you open these up, you're not gonna have anything for tomorrow. So it teaches a little bit of discipline to kids. Like, I can't open all these. But my nephews, they used to. They would go in, they get it for Christmas, freaking just rip the whole front of the thing off and just start building all this stuff. So whatever floats your boat, but I like having that little thing to look forward to each day. It's like a little gift. And then the next day after they're all open, then it's Christmas. And I think it's a win. Not my win of the week, although pretty close, but it's fun, and I know a lot of other people are enjoying them. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Other Lego news, not really news, but like news to me. I've been thoroughly enjoying shopping for Lego with Kohl's. If you guys don't know what Kohl's is, it's a department store. I don't know if it's all across the United States. I don't think it's in Canada. We're talking about it a bit on Discord. But Kohl's is great because they have this thing called Kohl's Cash, where for every $50 you spend, they give you $10 to spend for a future purchase, with the only drawback being that this Kohl's Cash expires within a period of time. So it's kind of like their way of keeping you coming back constantly. In most cases, if you go in there, you're probably going to spend more than $10. So I've been like running with this. I've been buying sets on there, getting my Kohl's Cash, going back and then buying another set and getting Kohl's Cash, going back and buying another set. And if you saw this week's vlog, you saw that we got Grogu, spoiler alert. We'll be spoiling Mandalorian a little bit here in the future of this episode, so be prepared. But we got the buildable baby Yoda, and it was the last one there. It's been out of stock at Lego. I love the little dude. You guys know my history with buildable figures. My initial thoughts on Grogu or Baby Yoda, or the child as he was known back then, was that I already have Yoda. I don't really need another one of these. But the more I looked at him, the more I was like, I really do need another one of these. I need Baby Yoda in my life. He's so darn cute. You guys know I love creepy Lego, but I also like cute Lego as well. I like the ones that kind of blend between being cute and creepy. And I feel like Grogu, he might just be cute. I don't think there's any creepiness in him. But I ended up snagging that at Kohl's, and I had $10 Kohl's cash use, so I got it for $70 instead of $80. And that's the kind of the point that I want to make. If you have a Kohl's in your area, is that you're essentially getting 20% off of Lego, which is like my default price. And the nice thing is you don't have to wait for a sale. You don't have to wait for Amazon to discount it. You don't have to wait for Walmart. And you can get 20% off of sets that don't typically go 20% off. So that was one that I haven't really seen on sale, although I've seen other people in the Discord report that they found it on clearance at their Target, which I need to start shopping at your Target because my Target looks like a freaking ghost town. There's tumbleweeds blowing down the Lego aisle. They've got like one set on the shelf. I did pick up something from Target, but I'm not going to share it last week. I'm not going to share it here because I want to do like a surprise haul. I'm doing this thing called a haul review or something, where I show you what I got and then just like lift up the box and then there it is built. That way you're getting like more bang for your buck instead of me just showing you a box and be like, hey guys, I got this Lego set for a wicked good price. It's more like, hey guys, I got this Lego set for a wicked good price and here it is built and here's my thoughts on it. Because I don't like doing reviews. I feel like I could just kind of incorporate it all in one and have that verification that I built it, my thoughts on it, and what I got it for, all in one video. I think it could be a thing. It could coincide with Clark's definitive reviews, where he just talks for about 2 minutes about what he likes about a particular set, and that's our review of it. I like that style. So I ended up getting, back to my point, I ended up getting Baby Yoda for $70. Clark got a little toy there as well, and it was a fun shopping experience. The video is a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, it was uploaded a couple days ago. A lot of people were commenting on Clark's appearance in it. He was fully decked out. You have to watch the video to see it because it was pretty funny. But I want to talk about from Kohl's and Baby Yoda. I want to talk about Baby Yoda. Let's talk about Mandalorian. I know I've been reluctant to spoil the show at all, and I'm still gonna kind of stay spoiler free here. But I want to talk about the impact that the Mandalorian show is having on my life and our lives as a family. It's a fantastic show, first of all. If you haven't seen it, it's on Disney+, which in my opinion, Disney Plus is the greatest value in streaming services in the world. Like if you're going to sign up for one to get, Disney Plus is the one. It's super cheap and they have like the whole what is it called? The vault. The Disney vault has been opened up. And there's all kinds of shows in there from Disney, and I guess they own 21st Century Fox or 20th Century Fox, and there's a lot of stuff on there, including Home Alone, which we watched this week as well, and Clark loved. Like him cracking up at Home Alone, which is my favorite movie, it just brought warmth to my soul. But let's talk about Mandalorian and how I love it. The shows are incredible. Like every one of the Mandalorian shows could potentially be a movie that I would love to watch. The last several episodes have been just bangers, and this most recent one was incredible as well. In fact, Mrs. Brickitect, who had no interest in this before, she's now watching it and contemplating going back to season 1 and watching it. But we're just, every Friday night, we do the patrons live stream, and when that's done, we go upstairs and we watch Mandalorian together, and it's become like one of my favorite parts of the week. And Clark just loves Baby Yoda, or Grogu. I'm not even sure what to call him anymore. We'll call him Grogu. And Disney is so smart having him in that series, because I think if it was just The Mandalorian, Clark probably wouldn't be interested in it. But it's all the cute stuff that Grogu does that he's into. And it got me thinking, Disney's already planning this. It's already made. But I would love to see the Adventures of Grogu cartoon. This is an idea I came up with the other night, and I was like, you want to capture kids and you want to sell merchandise? Have the Adventures of Grogu. It could just be him. He doesn't even have to talk. He can just do like his cute baby noises. But it could be him like interacting with people all over the Star Wars universe, and just going on adventures. It's my idea. Disney, if you're listening, call me. I would love to collect royalties on that idea. But again, it's probably already made. They're not gonna let this Grogu go. The name though is a little much. I kind of just like calling him Baby Yoda. That was like my jam, and maybe they should have stuck with that. But it's better than the child, I suppose. But I'm loving the show, and we love it so much that Clark is now planning a Mandalorian birthday party, Mandalorian-themed birthday party. I think it's just going to be us here, but they ordered this stuff yesterday, I think, to make that happen. His birthday is January 2nd, so right after Christmas, we'll be going into that. We'll probably get him some costumes and stuff like that. I should dress up as Mandalorian, and then he should be Grogu. That'd be funny. If you haven't seen our community post on this, Bat Talk actually did a drawing. This was completely unrelated. He did like a drawing of us as the brickitect DeLorean, or the Mandalorian-itect and Grogu, and it's pretty good if you haven't seen that. But I love the show. I love it so much. Speaking of things that I love and that are Lego related, bringing this back to Lego, the Star Wars Holiday Special we watched last night, and I loved it. I don't know what the general consensus is on this. I'm sure there's a lot of, you know how the Star Wars people are. They pretty much hate everything that's made because it offends them in some way. But I thought the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, which is also on Disney Plus, call me for that sponsorship, Disney. It was so much fun to watch. I love the humor in it. I love the art of it. It looked good. The story was fun. If you don't know the storyline, basically Rey is. Should I say too much about this? I won't talk about this. Let's hold off on this one because I feel like there's probably some people who haven't watched it. But it has Rey. It's got all the characters from the Star Wars universe, and they're kind of like they're all interacting in ways that you would never expect. And there's a lot of funny moments from it. And I highly suggest watching it. Even if you're an adult, I highly suggest watching the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special on Disney Plus. You won't regret it. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe it's just my taste, but I thought it was really fun. And I thought the voice acting was good. I have no complaints. And it's about 48 minutes long, which is actually longer than this week's Mandalorian episode. That's my biggest complaint about Mandalorian this week. It was like 33 minutes long or something. I'm like, where's the other half of the episode? Because we need the other half of the episode, especially this week. I should probably just do a spoiler cast, honestly, because I feel like I'm walking this tightrope for people here where it's like I'm spoiling things that people are going to be upset about. And then for other people, I'm not talking about it enough because they've seen it and want to know my thoughts on it. I probably should just go all in, but I'm trying to be respectful of people that aren't on the cutting edge of watching things because I've been there. Oftentimes I'm there, but I'm finally caught up on all this stuff. The other thing that we watched on Disney Plus, Disney, they don't care about me. We watched Mulan, the live action Mulan, the one that, very interestingly, was supposed to go to theaters and probably make a pile of money. Unfortunately, couldn't do that, so they ended up releasing it on Disney Plus for $30. I don't know how many people actually paid that price for it. I'd love to know the financials behind this movie because I imagine it probably lost a pile of money. Other than the fact that Disney's just like gobbling up these subscriptions like Pac-Man, and they certainly can afford to lose some money here and there. Everything they do is a win. It seems someone's gonna think of something. What's Disney's biggest loss so far? So leave that as a comment. I'm curious to know what was something Disney did recently that just flopped. It certainly isn't Star Wars, and you could consider some of the recent Star Wars movies a flop, but it wasn't Marvel. It's just a money-making machine that they have going on here. But what was I talking about? Completely lost my track. I started thinking about Disney as an ATM machine, just like spitting out money because that's what they are. I was talking about Mulan. Should I start this over? I had to say it. I was talking about Mulan and how we ended up not buying it for $30 or renting it for $30 is what it was. We ended up watching it for free. It's finally available to watch on there. And from what I saw, I ended up falling asleep halfway through, which wasn't a testimony to how bad the movie was or testament to how bad the movie was. It was just I was super tired. It was a long day. I got up before 6 o'clock and was just banging out the videos here. Mrs. Brickitect and Clark Man, they loved it. They thought it was really good. She loves the original one and the songs in it especially. This didn't have any songs. This was like more like adult focused. I don't know if I would let smaller kids watch it. There's a lot of violence in it, of course. It's like war. But it was a good movie. I definitely want to go back and watch like the second half that I fell asleep on. I know there's people on the Discord are waiting for my review, and I feel terrible because it was just like, do you guys have like that spot in your house, like your couch or whatever, where you're just like super comfy and you got like this really soft blanket that you just put on, and then like you get nice and toasty, and then you start resting your eyes a little bit and you just drift off? I have that space, and I get into it when we watch a movie, and I fall asleep during almost every one of them. So we'll go back. I'll watch Mulan and report the results to you on how I feel about it. But that kind of takes me into this whole Mulan conversation about how it was basically canceled in theaters, $30 to buy and then free to rent. It kind of takes me into the next topic here that it's going to get some people fired up, I think, my thoughts on this. But I'm curious to get your feedback on this. I want to talk about Warner Brothers in 2021. If you guys haven't heard the news, essentially what they're going to do, assuming that this pandemic thing is here to stay, at least for the time being, Warner Brothers is going to be releasing all of their movies in theaters, which ones are actually open right now and not out of business, like Regal in our area just went out of business. They're going to be releasing all the movies in theaters and also to HBO Max on the same day. So this is like a thing that I've been talking about for a long time about movie theaters and how necessary they are. I know there's this sentiment, and I have it too, where you go to a movie theater and it's like an experience, right? Like you have the big screen and you see like the previews and you see, you get your popcorn and drink and there's other people and it feels like it's like a concert basically. It's like it's the experience of being there. But then on the other hand of that experience, you have the fact that you have to drive to the movie theater. You have to pay a crazy high price for the tickets, especially if you have your significant other, maybe some kids coming along with you. They all want something to drink or eat. You're spending a crazy amount of money on that. You go sit down in the theater. You have to watch like 45 minutes of previews. I think the last movie I went to see in the theaters was Rise of Skywalker, and I'm pretty sure it was about 40 minutes of previews, which I know previews are fun because it's like upcoming movies that are coming out. Maybe you're like, oh yeah, I want to see that. And I've been there. But what you don't realize is that all they are is just ads. Like they should be paying you to watch those previews. They're advertising to you. The movie that you're watching after all those ads should almost be free. But you have all of those things. You have the fact that you're sitting in a theater with other people that may be on their phone, coughing, sneezing, smelling bad. Somebody sits in front of you, you can't see. I mean, all these terrible things could potentially happen at the theater, right? But then you have this alternative that is not really accessible if you want to watch a movie right away, because the only reason theaters have been able to stay in business isn't just for the fact that people like to go out to a dinner and a movie. It's the fact that they've held on to this exclusivity where if you want to watch a movie right when it's available, you need to come to us and you need to go through all of those things that I just mentioned to you. You need to pay the high prices. You need to buy our concessions if you want to, or you could sneak them in or whatever, or not. You need to deal with all of these things, all these drawbacks, but then you have that experience. This in 2021 may not be happening anymore. Well, obviously with Warner Brothers, like I guess I should say my theory prior to all this happening was, why don't you do like the Mulan thing where you have it in the theater, say it's, $10 per ticket, or you have it for $30 as like a pay-per-view on, it didn't have to be a subscription service, it could be a pay-per-view event. So you have that choice whether you want to sit at home and watch this movie in the comfort of your home, which, again, there's another reason that you don't need a movie theater. You used to go to a movie theater because they had it, maybe because you didn't have access to a VCR or DVD player, Blu-ray, digital services. You didn't have a screen that was big. You didn't have air conditioning. Like people would go to the movies just to have air conditioning and cool down in the summertime, like this is a long time ago. Now your home probably has a better setup than what the movie theater does. You've got a 55-inch TV that you bought for $400 at Walmart or whatever. You've got a very comfy spot that you can curl up with your blanket. You can start the movie whenever you want. You can get your own food. You can pause it when you need to go to the bathroom. You've got no other people around you making noises or bothering you or anything like that. Like it's all your experience. And if they did it for $30 like in the Mulan scenario, you got your wife and 2 kids or whatever. You're saving money and you don't have to go anywhere. It seems like a win. They don't do this because they want to make money at the theater, right? So that was never an option for you. But I feel like, and we'll know this coming year, I feel like people would have taken advantage of that. There's a lot of people that feel like me where, the experience is cool and all, but it sure would be nice just to go ahead and click a button. In the same way that it's nice going out to dinner, but it sure is nice door dashing and you open your door and your meal's there, right? Or having a pizza delivered. And 2021, for better or worse, I think is going to essentially prove that the movie theater model is outdated and it's probably going to be non-existent. So essentially what's going to happen is throughout 2021, all these Warner Brothers movies, if you have an HBO Max subscription, which is I think $15 a month, a little high for subscriptions, but not crazy high compared to what they have on there, the movie's just going to be there. Like I think on December 25th, the Wonder Woman movie is going to be available and you're going to be able to sit down and watch it. You're not even paying for the pay-per-view. You're just paying for the subscription. So to me, that is a win. All these new movies are just going to be available and you can just sit down and watch them at home at your convenience. None of that stuff that I mentioned. Again, I know this is going to be a polarizing topic because there's a lot of people that are like, no, Greg, no. The theater, you have to go to the theater to see a movie. The sound, the visuals, everything is amazing. Well, I think that's cool, but unfortunately, I think just like video game arcades, that's going to be something that was really amazing for the time that it existed, but technology unfortunately put it out. The same way with, I think we talked about maybe several weeks ago, we talked about like going to a movie rental store, like a Blockbuster, and how cool that the experience that was, going in there and shopping around and grabbing something. Just like going into a Toys R Us was really cool, going in and shopping around and grabbing a toy and holding it in your hands. Just like going, like, I mean, you could pick any brick and mortar place. Unfortunately, technology and convenience, more than anything, convenience always prevails. Convenience always trumps, as much as I don't want to use that word, always beats the experience or the luxury or whatever. I think movie theaters will still exist. I think people will still go to them, but this other option is going to make things very interesting, and we'll see what happens in 2021. Like I said, I had 2 movie theater chains in my area here in my town. One of them is now out of business. The other one, maybe they'll be able to pick up from this, and it's going to be the only place that people go, those who want to have that experience of watching a movie. But I'm telling you, if you take away that exclusivity that they have with these movies, there's not much of a reason for people to go there, especially when times are tough and people are trying to save money. If you still want to watch a movie and you have a $15 per month HBO subscription, say they put out 4 movies a month. I don't know how many movies they're going to put out. Say it's 2. You're paying $15 for 2 movies for your family to watch them whenever they want. It's wild, and I think you're going to see a lot of these studios teaming up with different subscription services, and a lot of money changing hands to get the rights to these things. It's going to be crazy, but it also kind of sad, because that's another thing. Like, pretty soon you're going to have nowhere to go. Like, you're literally going to be on Amazon, and you're going to be on your subscription services at your home, doing all the things that you do. Like, think about shopping malls. Same situation. They're there, but they're dying. People used to go, I talked to the security guy at our local mall that is very much on death's doorstep. And he was talking about how it used to be the place where everyone went and hung out and socialized and did all of these things together. Now, people don't need to do any of that. You have your phone and you scroll through Facebook or whatever to find out what everyone's doing. You send Discord messages or whatever. And a part of it's really neat, but a part of it's very sad. And that's where I'm at on this. I'm kind of torn. Like, I love the convenience, but I know that convenience is going to destroy the thing that I truly love, which is experience. I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. I'd love to make this a topic for next week as viewer feedback to follow up on. Like, what are your thoughts? Obviously, you probably love movie theaters like we all do, but what are your thoughts on this becoming like a streaming thing? What are your thoughts on as long as it's open on both, I guess we'll let the markets talk, right? Let your wallet speak for itself. What do you want to do? Do you want to spend $15 a month on HBO Max? Or do you want to go at your leisure and go watch a movie at the theater and have that experience for maybe $15 per ticket? I mean, I don't know. Well, this year is going to be a make or break for these things. In the same way that I'm sure arcades kind of had the same experience back when the Atari and Nintendo came out. It's like, this was a place you had to go to have this experience, and it was awesome. Going to an arcade and playing games with all these people and like having this really cool experience was fantastic. But then a more convenient and more cost-effective option came open, and you can see what's happened to arcades. My theory is that movie theaters are going to be the arcades of the 2020s. But that's just what I'm thinking. So, I don't know. We'll see. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about this week. I know this is very Watchitect focused, but it was a nice week. It was a nice week of developing this community on a new platform, learning these things, having these options available. And then lots of great things to watch and things to ponder about the future of cinema. We'll see. I do have. I'm pondering something about the future of cinema in our house here, but I don't want to talk about it too much because I would rather be a doer than a talker, I guess, right? Like, I want to be like, hey, I'm not going to be doing this thing, but I've done this thing, and this thing that I'm going to be doing, you've probably seen it on Greg's World. It's going to revolutionize the brickitect studio and make this a place that's like truly epic. And I might not even need movie theaters anymore. I'll just leave it at that. We're going to go into the viewer feedback or listener feedback from last week here as we wrap this episode up. Starting with Tracy, who has a follow-up on me talking about being a procrastinator last week. She says, I too am a deadline-motivated person. I hate it. I always try to get things done ahead of time, and I always wind up doing it last minute and feeling like I didn't do my best. I try to tell myself not to put it off, what I can do today, but it hasn't worked well for me. I hear you. I say, why do today what you can do tomorrow? In fact, there's this thing that I need to do down here, like majorly, that I could have had done weeks ago, but I'm putting off because I need that pressure of a deadline. Sometimes deadlines can actually make you perform better, but I would say giving yourself sufficient time, and maybe an artificial deadline would work if you're trying to create discipline in yourself. But you knowing that it's an artificial deadline may not help you at all. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, you can't trick yourself. You can't be like, well, this thing, let's say you're in school and you're like, well, this paper really needs to be done by Monday. I'm going to give myself until Friday to have it done. Make sure it's done this Friday. But then you're like, I have until Monday. I think I'll put it off. This is going to be an inevitable thing that we are always going to fight with Tracy, and I don't see that ending anytime soon unless you really just try to do something to change it. And I don't know if it's really necessary if you're getting things done, but I don't know. It's one of those things that you're like, you wish you didn't do, but you do, and you don't see yourself getting out of it, but you probably should. How many things like that do we have in our lives? Weight loss, any goals really. Maybe small steps. That's always my recommendation for goals, but I don't know. Let's go on to the next one here as we answer these deep questions of life, like procrastinating. Lord of Vogels says, longtime watcher, first time commenter. I enjoy watching these episodes. They help me take time to reflect on my own week in life. Regarding your joke about having someone say, hey, you into Lego at a store somewhere, I unironically had someone do that to me today in the parking lot after he saw that I was carrying a Star Wars 20th Anniversary Slave 1 and a Boba Fett helmet. Nice guy. We briefly discussed the likely increase in value on certain Star Wars sets given the latest Mandalorian episode. I won't spoil which ones if you haven't seen it. Interactions like that and watching your videos reminds me that the LEGO community is generally filled with great people. Just keep doing what you do. So there's a perfect example. Like, I don't have the guts to do that. Like, if I saw Lord of Vogels walking out of the store with some Lego stuff, I wouldn't be like, bro, Lego? You into Lego? It is a good conversation starter, of course. But I guess maybe as an introvert, that's not me. And maybe, I don't know if Lord of Vogels, if the shoe would have been on the other foot, if he would have done that. But I guess it does start a conversation. It's just kind of awkward to make friends that way, I suppose. But every friendship has to start somewhere. And maybe you guys, like, say you hit it off and you're like, dude, I love Mandalorian. Me too. Like, when do you watch it? Let's have a watch party. I don't know. Where does it go from there? But I do like what you said at the end there, that the LEGO community is generally filled with great people. It absolutely is. Like, I've met so many awesome people. Like, most of my friends are because of this channel. And I love it. I'm very thankful for it. And I've watched so many awesome creators come up on here. There's people that I've been fans of for years that are still at it. I meet new friends all the time, and it's super rewarding, and that's why I love doing this. But it's cool when it happens in, like, the real world too, right? Next one comes, thank you for your comment though, Lord. Next one comes from Jasper. He says, the biggest question, we got a deep one here, boys. Biggest question is what I want to become later. My school says if you know what you want to become, we can help you. I literally don't know. I like video making, Lego and stuff. The thing I do now is business and math. I'm not good at math, and I don't really like what I'm doing now. Your episode made me think about that. Yeah, we talked about this at length a few weeks ago, where I think we came to the consensus that you don't need to have it figured out what you want to do. You're still in school right now. Dude, there's people that are my age that still don't know what they want to do. Like, I spent a lot of my 20s asking myself what my passion is, and not knowing really what that thing was. I knew that I wanted to be like a lone wolf and work independently. I worked best on my own, being responsible for myself, and I always loved like a commission-based life where the harder I work, the more successful or more money that I make. And this is before like YouTube even crossed my mind as something that I could do, but I was always like, what is my passion? Maybe I could have like a restaurant. Maybe I could do like a small business. Maybe I could make soaps. I don't know. It was like, what business can I do? And then like this YouTube thing, I found this love of like watching videos here on YouTube. And then I was like, man, I'd love to make something like that. Because I fell in love with these people's families that I'd watch, these vloggers. And I felt like I was a part of their family. And it was cool to see just like real people, not like reality show people. And I don't know if this still exists on YouTube these days, unfortunately. But like it was fun seeing like real people just exist and like bring you along with them on their life journey. And I wanted to do that too, and I started doing that, and I had some success. And then like that became my passion, and it aligned in so many ways. Like I loved technology, I loved cameras, I loved audio stuff, I loved making videos and sharing those, and I loved, as I mentioned earlier, working alone. And the harder I work, the more successful I am. I like being responsible for myself, and all of these things just kind of blend together into this thing that I do, which is making YouTube videos or being a YouTuber. And I just feel so blessed that I found something at this point in my life that I could love as much as this, because YouTube isn't a thing like as cool as it sounds. And maybe you're thinking like, oh, Greg, you really sold me on this whole YouTube thing. I think I'll do it. as cool as it sounds, if you don't love this, if you don't have like a burning passion to make videos, you aren't going to last on here. You're going to start making some videos, you're going to get kind of over it, and you're going to peter out. It's happened to me on channels before that I've made, and it's like, they kind of just die off. But if you have a burning passion for something, like sharing your life or your Lego collecting journey or whatever it is, you'll know it. You'll know it when you find it. But if you're young, or even if you're old, don't stress yourself about finding that thing in your life or what you're going to do for a living. You don't have to worry about it. I think the best advice that we had, and I don't know who gave this, but it was to try a bunch of different things. Like you said, you're doing business and math and you're not good at math or like what you're doing right now. Why not try something else? Find something that you do like, and maybe that you'll find that little thing. I didn't find it until my mid-20s. So, and even at that, it wasn't fully attainable until I was past 30. And for some people, that happens way later. Like there's people that are in their 50s, 60s that find that thing that burning passion that they have for something, and somehow make a living at it. Because I think that's kind of what everyone worries about. Like you maybe have a passion for something, but it's like, how do I make income off of this passion? And I'll say this. If you make yourself an expert in something and you're like the go-to person in that, or if you put your heart and soul into something, people will recognize that and you will be good at it. Like it could be anything. Like say you like woodworking. What can you do to become the best cabinet maker that you possibly can be? Like a carpenter, I guess would be the word. How can you be that person? How can you be the guy or girl that everyone calls and are like, dude, I need a cabinet installed or made? That is the guy. That's how you become successful. And you can make money in almost anything, because as I discussed before, all money is certificates of appreciation. The more money that you have just shows that more people appreciate the thing that you're doing, unless you inherit it all, which that's kind of like cheating, I suppose. But like if you find a really rich person, like let's talk about Jeff Bezos, for example, who owns Amazon. He has a crap ton of money, but look at the lives of people that he's impacted. People use his products and services every day. Bill Gates, perfect example. Steve Jobs, another example. It's how many people can you impact, and how can you impact them in a massive way? The bigger and better you do at that, that's how you find success. But that isn't the only definition of success either. You don't need to be rich to be successful. You might not make any money at the thing you love doing, but if you spend time on it and you're happy with yourself and you wake up today thinking, I'm going to do the thing that I love to do today, even if you're living in the streets, if you're okay with that and you're loving it, I have no problems with that, because money isn't everything. There's lots of rich people that are absolutely miserable and hate themselves and their lives, and you don't want to be that. So don't focus on the money, focus on what you want to do. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't do the thing that you want to do, or let people dissuade you from that. The thing you want to do is wild, like making Lego videos for people online, and that's the thing you want to do for a living. Don't let your mom tell you that, no, you can't do that. We talked about this last week. I got very upset last week with someone's mom who didn't want them to be a firefighter, the thing that they had a burning passion for, and it just got me very fired up. So we won't go there, but I hope that you find that thing, or at least start thinking about it. Just keep it in the back of your mind, but don't worry about it. Let's go on to the next one here. More advice to on the way. You guys seem to enjoy the advice, and as long as you're okay with it, I'll give it. This is from Aiden D. He says, I need some advice. Every day just feels like the same thing. I don't really talk to anyone anymore, and I've lost the will to get up and be productive. I just instantly get bored and don't enjoy it. It's frustrating to me because I love Legos, but it feels like I'm losing interest even when I want to do something with them. I don't feel depressed. I just feel like nothing makes me want to get up anymore and do what I want to do. The days feel more and more like numbers now than actual days. It's hard when you don't have anyone to talk about problems. And this one hurt me on the inside. Like that, I guess I wake up every day like just excited about like the next thing I'm going to do and like what my plans are. But I can relate to this, like to want to do something and just be like, oh, to me, I'm obviously not a psychologist by any means. And you say you're not depressed, but reading the first couple sentences of this, and I'm in no position to make any judgment calls here, but you say every day feels like the same thing. I don't talk to anyone anymore. I lost the will to be productive. I get bored and don't enjoy things. I see those ads on TV for like prescription drugs, and they're like, if you have these symptoms, you need to get on to whatever this prescription pill is. And I mean, again, I'm not a doctor, so I can't say anything like that, but I think you're describing a lot of the classifications for being depressed. And maybe it's something that you should look into or talk to a doctor about, because that's that's not good when there's something that you like to do that you can't find the will to even do, and the day's feeling the same, and it's hard when you don't have anyone to talk about. Maybe you need someone to talk to about this. And I don't know what your financial situation is. I don't know how old you are. I don't know anything, but you should probably at least talk to somebody about this and figure it out, because it's not a way to live your life. And if that's how you're feeling, like, I'm not going to get emotional, but you don't want to let it go too far. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I hope you can find somebody to talk to. I'm sure there's free things that you can take advantage of. There's probably a hotline. There's a number there. I don't know. I feel like I'm way over my head on this one, boys, but I think this one needs to be addressed. And if you have any advice for Aiden, please put it in the comments here. I'm sure he'll be taking a look at that. And geez, that's a tough one. Let's go on to the next one here. Ray says, I think you made a great point on how children easily make friends because their emotions aren't as developed, and they don't fully get that friends aren't just for playing. However, as kids become older, their emotions and knowledge of friends grow, which means they don't make friends as easily. In my personal experience, the older you get, not only do you start losing friends because you realize they weren't real ones, but it also becomes much harder to make them. Clark has great social skills and easily makes friends, but eventually he will have less and less, and it'll be harder for him to make them. So while Clark is young, try to make sure the friends he makes are great ones and will stick with him through thick and thin, so he doesn't have to deal with the sadness of friends slowly drifting apart from him. I love your videos and have been watching since your old house. Keep up the great work and stay safe. If you end up reading this, then please tell Mrs. Brickitect to stay safe in school, and tell Roxy, Clarkman, the chickens, and Mello I said hi. I read every comment, but I think you make a good point there. I feel like when you're young and innocent with a lot of things, whether it be making friends or making art, you don't have these things inside your head telling you like to not do these things, or like this is weird or awkward, or like you're being too forward. You just are. And I guess as adults, like one of the greatest things we can try to do is try to get back to that space. I think artists do that in a really fantastic way. But how many times you sit down to draw something and you're just like, well, I got to make sure these lines are right. I got to do this. Kids, they just go. And it sounds like you've had some issues with people that have kind of burned you, or you found out some of your friends are fake. But it is nice when you have like one friend or a couple friends from your childhood that have been with you forever, and you guys are like BFFs or whatever. But I totally agree with what you're saying here. I think as you do get older, those things start to become harder and harder. So if you have a kid or plan to have a kid, my advice is try to encourage that as much as you can, the things that they're doing, especially with artwork, because eventually they're going to get self-conscious, and then that's going to be the end of it. So try to avoid that trap that I think we've all pretty much fallen into. At least I certainly can say that I have. Thank you for the comment, though, Ari. Next one comes from 3 Dudes RC. It says, hey, Greg, long-time listener, first-time commenter. Thanks for calling in. It says, I love listening to your podcast every week while I build some Legos or work on homework. I typically listen to it on an Apple or Google podcast. My brothers and I have quite a Nerf collection ourselves. It is so much fun just to have a battle every once in a while. I'm looking forward to see the collection grow. This is in reference to me saying how we're essentially becoming a Nerf channel potentially, and it's one of the most fun hobbies that we've got into along with RC stuff. So I recommend building a pegboard to store them on, like making an armory essentially. I am also excited to see Clarkman's new RC car. Should be cool. I have a Traxxas Slash. My brothers also have an RC car. We started a YouTube channel called 3 Dudes RC back in July or so, and we have loved making videos so far, but I haven't gotten a whole lot of views or subscribers. However, it's still fun. I would love some more advice on how to grow a channel. I already watched the first episode about starting a channel. Anyway, sorry for the long comment. Looking forward to the next episode. P.S. Good luck on the PS5. Cool. Well, cool. Thank you for the comment. I love the fact that you're into the same hobbies that we are. I'm going to link your channel down in the description. If anybody wants to check out 3 Dudes RC, there's probably some RC enthusiasts that would love to come over and give you some support. But my recommendation for anyone that's trying to grow a channel is just be consistent. Don't do what I do, where you make videos about all kinds of different things and try to put it on the same channel, and then people are unclear as to what this is. Try to focus down on that thing. Like if you're really into Traxxas, do like all Traxxas videos. If you're into making like sweet jumps, like do jump videos, or just really tailor it to the RC crowd and be consistent. Whether that's uploading one video a day, one a week, one a month. Hopefully not one a year, because that's not going to work. But just try to keep those things coming, and try to interact with other people in your community. Whether there's other RC channels, comment over there. Try to become friends with people. You never know where it could go. But I'm proud of you for starting a channel. You and your brothers, I guess, the 3 Dudes RC. I think it's a great time to start a YouTube channel, especially RC stuff, because it's something you can do kind of independently. Go out to an abandoned spot, run them and stuff, and have a good time. We certainly have done a lot of that over the summer, and I might have to check out your channel because I'm into this kind of stuff. But good luck to you, Cole, and the two other dudes. Next thing, last but not least, we're going to go into the wins of the week, starting with Chris Robinson. If you have a win of the week, you can share it down below as well. He says, my wins of the week were both Lego related, and one of them had to do with an old topic from podcasts past, boxes. I decided to frame my two favorite boxes of modern sets, 70654 Diesel Knot and 60165 4x4 response unit, as well as two of my favorite catalogs, open to two of my favorite themes, Western and Spurious. That was during my dark age. I don't know how to say it. The boxes and catalogs are hanging on the walls of my build space, and it is a real shot of joy and nostalgia whenever I sit down to build. Maybe you could frame some of your and Clarkman's favorite box art. Just a thought. My other win of the week was ordering 31109 Creator 3-in-1 pirate ship. Yarg! I ordered a 2 matey from Lego's website. I was also super disappointed with the deals Lego ran for Black Friday, but it didn't keep me from getting the set that I've been really wanting. And now comes the long wait for the package to arrive. Thanks for making great pod. Have a great week. Well, Chris, thank you for the advice. If anyone else is thinking about doing that, it would make some cool wall art. I'm still trying to figure out my wall situation down here, but I could see us doing something like that. Putting up the front of a box. Maybe I have the Nintendo on display, so I don't need to put that up. But I think it'd be cool to have some like Lego posters and promotional stuff put around. I did, back when I had space, I had the 15,000 subscriber it was an art contest. I had that up on the door back there, but then I replaced it with missing pieces, which I like. So I'm just kind of figuring out what I want to do down here, but I eventually will have it all kitted out, and it's going to look fantastic down here. But thank you for the comment. Good luck with your pirate ship when you get it. I imagine you're going to love it because it is the best Lego Creator set of the year, in my opinion. And thank you for listening to the podcast, my man. Next win of the week comes from Brittany. Brittany says, my win of the week was putting away electronics more to play with my son. He was starting to get attached to his iPad. I'm totally in favor of electronics, but I think it was getting to an unhealthy level for me as well as my son. We put away our devices, went to his room and played dinos, raced Hot Wheels, and created a Play-Doh for hours. It was refreshing. I felt so good. I could tell he did too. Excited to do this more often. I love that. I see kids at the grocery store that are in carts, like little tiny kids, like 2 years old or less. They're glued to an iPad. I'm like, dude, do you realize like how much damage that's doing? Like I know you think they need to be stimulated all the time, but this is a stimulating environment. You're going through a store. There's things everywhere. Don't have your kid on devices all the time, especially when they get to be teenagers, and that's literally all they do anyway. Like you just can't. We did a whole topic on when should kids have phones and the dangers of kids being glued to devices, and it's a bit scary. But if you feel like that you've taken it too far, or your kid's taken it too far, it might be a time to pull the plug, literally, and do some of the cool stuff that you guys did. And I think those things are going to make way more memories, like playing dinos and Hot Wheels and Play-Doh, than playing Angry Birds on an iPad. So this is my thoughts, but it's just device detect. I can't really give you anything outside of my personal experience, but we try not to let Clark do that stuff. And I think, obviously it shows, even though he's on a device pretty much all day for school, which is a whole nother thing. Like, this device stuff's out of hand. So let's save that. Well, I guess we'll leave that in the past for previous episodes. If you go through the podcast directory on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can see where we talked about when should kids get phones, and we talk more about kids being glued to technology. This next one of the week, comes from Builder Buds, who says, wins of the week, being a part of the brickitect Patreon Discord and meeting and talking to a great community of people. Well, we're glad to have you. It was nice playing with you there. He has number 2, though, too. Diving into Nerf life with my little man. So fun. And number 3, building one of the GOAT sets, the Lego Nintendo. Agreed. Thank you, Clark, for the lesson in Minecraft. Yeah, Clark and Builder Buds are actually playing together. He may or may not have killed Builder Buds a couple times, which is one of the 2 rules of our realm. No hurting other people and no destroying or modifying other people's builds. That's the only rules I have for Clark, man. And he's trying to be a funny guy in there. So we've had a conversation, and hopefully that doesn't happen going forward. But it's been awesome having you. It's great that you're into Nerf. I can relate. And the Nintendo set, best Lego set of all time, in my opinion. At least ones that I've built. So I'm right with you on that one, Ronnie. Next and last win of the week comes from Pablo. He says, hey, Greg. I'm a commercial pilot from Chile. I was going to start applying for a job at big airlines this year, but because of COVID, they're actually firing pilots, and I don't know for how much longer this will be like this for us. But despite that, this has been an amazing year. I came back to live with my parents for a while, helping them with their business. I've had time to do many things that I couldn't do before, like improving my 3D modeling skills, learning to weld, exercising, spending lots of time with my family, and spending time building Lego MOCs. This year I've learned that we have to accept the present and be grateful for what we have right now. We always have a vision of how we want the future to be for us, but it's really important to be able to adapt because we never know what might happen later on. In the end, reaching your goals a few years later than expected doesn't matter. It's the adventure to get you there that counts. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to share our thoughts, and always keep being yourself. My goodness, I had to say that for the end because I felt like that is better advice than I've ever given on this podcast in the last 62 and 0.99 episodes from Pablo. I love everything you said there. Like, you've had this setback. You're staying positive. You've done all these other things that you've had the opportunity to do. Who cares that you're not a pilot right now? As long as you're living your best life, more power to you, my man. That powered me up right there. Reading that, I was just like, yes. Like, that's why I read these comments right before I do Missing Pieces, because I'm like, I read them and I'm just like, this is it, man. This is what we're doing today. And I hope Pablo's message there resonates with you as well. Even if you're one of those people that we talked about earlier, maybe you can't find your passion, you don't know what that is. Do the thing that makes you happy today. Do learning to weld, modeling skills, exercising, spending time with the family, building Lego MOCs. Accept the present and be grateful for what we have now. I love that. I can't end it any better, Pablo. You just finished out Missing Pieces, man. Thank you so much for leaving such an insightful listener/viewer feedback. I appreciate you listening to the podcast or watching it, and that goes to everyone else out there too, whether you left a comment or not. I appreciate you all being here with me every week as we talk about our life, Lego, and anything else that's on our mind. It's really rewarding doing this. My favorite thing that I do every week, and I'm thankful that there's someone else on the other end of this that's out there listening, because it's just, I don't know. It's just, I can't even put it into words. It's so rewarding. So on that, guys, thank you so much for attending this week's episode of Missing Pieces. I hope you got something out of this, whether it was entertainment, information, insights, encouragement, whatever it was. I hope you got something out of this episode. And if you did, leave a comment for next week. I love viewer feedback. I feel like it makes these episodes what they are. And I hope to hear from you and I hope to share your message. Oh, I can't say in the next Missing Pieces because I'm going to ruin the outro. So we'll find you and your listener feedback in the next episode of Missing Pieces.